What an incredible day for football. Today, on Saturday, the 25th of April 2026, we witnessed a Premier League match that will be talked about for years to come. Arsenal travelled to the Etihad Stadium, a very difficult place, to get a result to face the champions, Manchester City. Everyone expected a tough game for the Gunners, but what unfolded was pure football drama. The final score was Manchester City 1, Arsenal 2. This was not just a win, it was a statement. It was a performance full of heart determination, a belief that never faded, even when things looked difficult. This match showed the true spirit of Arsenal under their manager. For the 90 minutes of the game, fans were on the edge of their seats. The atmosphere in the stadium was electric, with the home fans singing loudly to support their team. The travelling Arsenal supporters also made their voices heard, creating a wall of sound for their players. This was a classic Premier League encounter, full of fast-paced action, brilliant skill moments that made you hold your breath. From the first minute to the last, both teams fought for every ball. It was a battle between two of the best teams in the country, and it delivered everything we hoped for and more. This essay will take you through the key moments of this unforgettable game. The story of this match is one of resilience. So let's dive into the action of this last-minute thriller. The match began exactly as many experts had predicted. From the moment the referee blew the first whistle, Manchester City took control of the football. Their players moved the ball with speed and precision, passing it around in their famous style. The Arsenal players had to work incredibly hard just to keep up. City's midfielders were finding pockets of space. Their quick passing sequences were a joy to watch. For the first 20 minutes, it felt like Arsenal were chasing shadows. The home crowd roared with every successful pass. Arsenal's manager had clearly set up his team to be compact and difficult to break down. The players stayed in a very organised shape. Two deep lines. Back four. Midfield four. They knew they would not see much of the ball. Their plan was to close down spaces, prevent City from playing through the middle. The Arsenal defenders and midfielders had to be very disciplined, communicating constantly. It was a tough job. City's movement is designed to pull defenders out of position. For a while, Arsenal's defensive structure held firm and frustrated the home side. Despite that, Manchester City still managed to create some big chances. The pressure from Manchester City was relentless. The game was being played almost entirely in Arsenal's half. The home side looked confident and determined to find the breakthrough their dominance deserved. The constant pressure from Manchester City finally paid off in the 35th minute of the match. The goal was a perfect example of their brilliant attacking play. It started with their central defensive midfielder, who stepped forward and played a clever pass that broke through Arsenal's first line of defence. The ball found their creative number 10, who turned quickly and spotted a run from his teammate. With a perfectly weighted through ball, he sent his striker clear of the Arsenal backline. The striker took one touch to control the ball and another to calmly slot it past the onrushing Arsenal goalkeeper. It was a clinical finish. The Etihad Stadium erupted in celebration. The home fans had been waiting for this moment, and the release of noise was deafening. The Manchester City players ran to the corner flag to celebrate together, a picture of a team that felt they were on their way to another victory. For the Arsenal players, it was a devastating blow. They had defended so well for over half an hour, working tirelessly to keep their opponents at bay. To concede a goal like that, after all their hard work, was a real test of their mental strength. The manager on the sideline urged his players to stay focused and not let their heads drop. The goal was a reward for City's patience and quality. They had moved the ball with purpose, waiting for the right moment to increase the tempo and unlock the Arsenal defence. The pass from the midfielder was the key. It was so precise that it took 3 Arsenal players out of the game. The striker's movement was also excellent, as he timed his run perfectly to stay onside. It was a goal that showcased everything that makes Manchester City such a formidable team. Technical skill, nobody could have predicted what was about to happen next. Just when it seemed Manchester City would go into the half-time break with a comfortable lead, Arsenal produced a moment of magic. In the 44th minute, against the run of play, they found an equalizer. The move started deep in their own half. The Arsenal left-back won a strong tackle. He quickly played the ball forward to his winger. The winger had been quiet for most of the half, then suddenly burst into life. He ran at the City defence with speed and purpose, forcing the defenders to back away. It was the first quick, direct attack in a while. The winger carried the ball towards the edge of the penalty area. He looked up and saw his captain making a clever run into space. With great vision, he played a sharp, low pass into the captain's feet. The captain took a brilliant first touch, taking him away from his marker. That created a shooting opportunity. Without hesitation, he struck the ball with power and precision. The ball flew past the City goalkeeper and into the back of the net. The small section of travelling Arsenal fans went wild, captain celebrating wildly, pointing to the travelling Arsenal fans. It was a stunning goal that came out of nowhere. The goal was a perfect example of Arsenal's counter-attacking threat. The goal completely changed the mood inside the stadium as the referee blew the whistle for half-time just a minute later. The score was level at 1-1. The Arsenal players walked off the pitch with their heads held high. The second half was now perfectly poised for more drama. When the teams came out for the second half, there was, a noticeable change in Arsenal's approach. Their manager had clearly given them an inspiring team talk during the break. From the first whistle of the second half, Arsenal played with much more confidence and intensity. They started to press Manchester City higher up the pitch, not allowing them the time and space they had enjoyed in the first half. The Arsenal forwards midfielders worked in unison, closing down City's defenders, forcing them into mistakes. The home team looked a little surprised by this new aggressive approach from the visitors. This change in strategy meant that the game became much more open and end-to-end. Arsenal were now committing more players forward when they had the ball, trying to create chances of their own rather than just waiting to counter-attack. Their passing was quicker and more incisive, causing real problems for the Manchester City defence. The Arsenal fans, who had been singing loudly since the equalizer, grew even louder. They could see the shift in momentum and sensed that their team was now capable of going on to win the match. The atmosphere was, honestly, incredibly tense. In response to Arsenal's pressing, the Manchester City manager also made some changes. The match turned into a fascinating tactical battle between the two managers, each trying to find a way to outsmart the other. As the second half progressed, Arsenal continued to grow in confidence. They were no longer just defending and hoping. They were taking the game to Man City, playing with swagger and belief. Midfielders were winning battles in the centre. One of the best chances fell to Arsenal's young winger. He received the ball on the right side, cut inside past two defenders, curled a beautiful shot towards the far corner. The ball looked destined to go in. It struck the inside of the post and bounced back out across the line. City defenders scrambled to clear. Arsenal players and fans stunned, heads in hands. So close to the lead, skill and sheer bad luck. Man City wouldn't sit back. They weathered the storm and created chances. Their striker found space in the box. A cross from the left. He met it with a powerful header on target, but the Arsenal keeper dived to his right and palmed it away. A crucial save. Scores stayed level. Both teams were creating opportunities, and it really felt like the next goal would be crucial. With the clock ticking down and the match heading towards a draw, Arsenal produced one final heroic effort. The winning goal arrived in the 89th minute, and it was a moment of pure footballing brilliance that will be replayed for years. It all started with the goalkeeper, who claimed a high cross and immediately looked to start a quick counter-attack. He threw the ball out to his right back, who had already started running forward. The right back carried the ball over the halfway line and played a clever 1-2 with his midfielder to get past a City player. The move continued with breathtaking speed. The right back then played a perfect pass down the line to the substitute winger, who had been brought on for his fresh legs and pace. The winger took the ball in his stride and drove towards the byline, with the City defender desperately trying to catch him. Just as it looked like he might run out of space, he cut the ball back brilliantly. He bypassed two defenders with his pass, rolling it perfectly into the path of the onrushing striker. The striker had timed his run to perfection, arriving in the box at just the right moment. The striker met the ball first time with a clinical, side-footed finish. He didn't try to hit it with too much power, he just guided it into the bottom corner of the net. After the explosion of joy following the winning goal, the reality of the situation quickly set in for the Arsenal players. There was still a few minutes of normal time, plus a significant amount of injury time to play. The fourth official indicated there would be 5 additional minutes. The Etihad Stadium, which had been silenced by the goal, found its voice again, urging the home team forward for one last push. Manchester City threw everything they had at Arsenal in these final, frantic moments. They sent their tall defenders forward for set pieces and pumped long balls into the penalty area, creating chaos. This was the ultimate test of Arsenal's resolve. Every single player in a red and white shirt had to become a defender. The Arsenal centre-back was a giant at the back, winning every header that came his way. In one heart-stopping moment, a loose ball fell to a City player inside the box. He shot powerfully towards goal, but the Arsenal left-back appeared from nowhere to make a heroic block, deflecting the ball over the bar. The Arsenal manager was a picture of nervous energy on the sideline, shouting instructions and encouraging his players to stay organised and focused. It was a masterclass in collective defending, a display of unity and a desperate desire to protect their precious lead. Finally, after what felt like an eternity for the Arsenal supporters, the referee looked at his watch and blew the final whistle. The sound was met with a huge roar from the away end and a collective sigh of relief from the Arsenal players, who collapsed to the ground in exhaustion and celebration. They had done it. They had held on. They had come to the home of the champions and secured a magnificent victory. An incredible amount of heart. This last-minute thriller will be remembered as a landmark victory.